So, mixed level yoga flow. We'll start in extended child's pose. Come all the way down, stretch your arms out. If you can lower your hips to your heels, go ahead. It doesn't always work. The hips can be springy. And then you could use your hands to gently push the hips back, or you could just let your hips spring up and be on your head. So either way, the point of this pose is just open up that back body. So as you breathe, you get this nice full breath, feeling the ribs expanding. It's just sort of turning the back body up toward the sky. Letting your head and your attention rest, softening the edges of the brain a little bit. Just finding that breath. Sometimes it's hard to breathe through the nose when you very first start a yoga class. So you're just sort of headed there slowly. You don't have to force it, but just slowly bringing your attention to trying to breathe in and out through the nose, down the back of the throat. Nice, easy breath. We'll take one big full breath there. And then coming to hands and knees. And here we really will begin to deepen the breath because we'll do a little cat and cow. If your feet cramp, you can always tuck your toes under. Take turns tucking one, pointing one, working with that. So elbows strong, hands shoulder distance apart. Sink your upper chest, inhale, look up, head up, tail up. And then exhale, round, head to tail. And we just keep going. Big inhale, looking up. And exhale. So this is a place where you can start to breathe through the nose. You can start to deepen your breath, but still keeping the eyes soft, your face soft. Relax your cheeks. We hold so much tension in the face, we don't even realize, especially when we're doing a lot of thinking, worrying. So let that go, just turn to your breath, turn to the movement of the spine. You want to feel the whole flow of the spine, from the tailbone all the way up through the back of the heart, through the base of the skull, up to the crown of the head, the upper palate, the hinge of the ears. That's part of the spine, the skull there. And one more, big inhale, looking up. And exhale as you turn in, looking toward your stomach. And then back to neutral. All right, we'll do just a nice spine twist here, taking your left palm face up, thread it under. Come all the way onto your left shoulder. Come up on your right fingertips. So again, not a strong stretch so much as opening up the lungs, opening up that back body, feeling all the movements of the spine. So a nice easy twist in the upper spine here. My left palm is face up. I'm on my temple on the mat there. I'm on my right fingertips so I can draw my right shoulder blade back just gently onto the upper back. It's like I'm looking through a little window under my elbow. Nice full breath into the outer rib cage, expanding front to back, side to side. And then back to center. And we'll do the second side. Right arm face up, threads all the way underneath the left arm, come onto that straight arm, come onto the side of your head, come up on your left fingertips. So you make a little window with that left arm. Being up on the fingertips gives you a little more control over the left shoulder blade. You draw that shoulder blade back and then just gently turning the rib cage. Just spinning around the long axis of the spine. Check that you are not doing anything funny with your head, either cranking the neck back or tucking your chin excessively. Just find a nice neutral. See if you can feel the head as part of that long axis from tail through the spine. Big inhale, expanding the sides of the ribs. And exhale, back to center. And coming back onto hands and knees. Okay, so this is probably a good time to take your socks off. My studio was a little chilly this morning. It's a little cold here in Maine in April, so, but we'll warm up. Okay, so socks off, arms reach out, downward puppy, toes tucked under, hands are outer shoulder distance apart, fingers spread wide and pointing straight ahead. And lean the hips up and back. Like there's a crease at the top of the thighs and the pelvis, and that's going to pull back. But then also lift your low stomach. So you're not just collapsing, right? You're not collapsing the low back. You're providing some support, some length through those low back muscles by lifting the low abdominals, and then we'll go up and back, downward facing dog. Lifting the hips back. The distance between your hands and feet in down dog is a little bit personal preference. If you walk too far back, it puts a little too much strain in the shoulders and it's hard to lift the tailbone. So make sure that the distance between your hands and feet, you still can bend your knees and you still have some movement in the pelvis. Like I can tuck and tip my pelvis back and forth. And I can still lift my low stomach. And my shoulder blades also have a little bit of play. There's a little freedom there. There's never a time in our yoga practice when we want to be locked out or like in a fixed position that we can't breathe and move in. All right, now we'll take the right leg up to the sky, reach it up and back. Don't worry about lifting it so high, just stretch it back there. Get a good stretch to your left heel, the one that's on the ground. And then place that right foot down. And take your left leg up. And just reach it back, opening up the front of the left hip and opening up the back of the right leg. Even weight through the hands and arms. Place that left foot down. All right, coming forward to plank pose, slide forward. And then we'll slowly lower down. You always place your knees down on that first one to really mind the shoulder blades on the back. And then pointing the toes, I'm just gonna move that. Point the toes straight back. Legs are hugging the midline. You don't need to have to actually touch, but they're not splayed out. So there's a tension to the energy of the legs, right? They're a little tone fired up. Go ahead and place your head, your left cheek on the mat and interlace your hands behind your back. Palms face each other. And then look forward and lift head and chest, lift up, lift up, lift up. Legs are still pretty much down. They might float a little bit, but we're not purposely lifting. And then exhale, again, left cheek down. Now relax your shoulders. Breathe into your low back. And then one more time like that. Lift up, look forward, and then this time, turn to your right cheek. So resting, shoulders rest, breathe into your low back, and then look up, extend, and come all the way down. Let your hands go, place your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, lifting up and back, downward facing dog again. So always checking, the hands are pointing straight forward. That means the crease of my wrists are parallel to the front edge of the mat. I'm not turning my hands in toward each other. That way I can have a little external rotation in my upper arm bones. So pressing down inside edge of my hands, but externally rotating my upper arm. Okay, taking that right knee into the chest, hug it in, and then step it forward to a long lunge. If you need to use your hand, you just tap that foot forward, come up on your fingertips. So I'm in a long enough stance that my front leg is at a right angle. My stomach might be resting on my front thigh. That's okay. Okay, but I'm pushing down into my right heel strong. And I'm trying to tuck, I'm trying to tuck that right hip down into my right heel. And resist with the left hip. Probably like I'm trying to level my hips out a little bit side to side. Reach through the back leg, extend out through your crown of the head. Nice long lunge. Putting a good amount of weight into your right heel. Reach into your back leg, place the back knee down. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Lifting up. And then just an easy twist. We're going to get a left hand down to the floor and the right arm up. So it's a nice open twist. Left hand down, right arm up. I'm twisting to my right. Big inhale, extending out from spine to crown of head. And then exhale, place that right hand down. Lift your back knee up. And step all the way back, downward facing dog. We're going to reach that right leg up to the sky just for a moment to open up the right hip and then place that right foot back down. And then left knee, hug it into your chest to start, just working on that action, trying to hug the knee nice and close. That'll help you with stepping forward over time. Stepping the left foot forward to a long lunge. Come up on your fingertips. Extend out through the crown of your head. Push into your left heel, strong. And scoop that left butt cheek toward the left heel, and then resist a little with the right hip. So I'm kind of hollowing through the right side. I'm not lifting it, I'm not opening it. I'm just, so I will say, I'm lifting it straight away from the floor without rotating it. That's a better way to say it. Extending through that back leg, extending through the crown of your head. Push into your left heel strong. So this is a really accessible hip opener for a lot of people. That getting the left leg to a right angle, my stomach is rested on my thigh, I'm lifting my abdominal muscles. Okay, and then placing the back knee down. Inhale, arms come up, big breath. And then exhale, nice open twist. So the right hand comes down about in line with my right knee, left arm open to the sky. So lots of space between my torso and my left leg. My left knee is not wandering to the midline, actually I'm ever so slightly widening it, and then I'm widening my back rib cage even. I'm not interested in scooping my abdominals back a little bit. Breathe into the back body, big inhale. Exhale, touch down. And again, step back, downward facing dog. Lifting that left leg up to the sky for a moment, opening up that left hip. And then we'll place the left foot down next to the right. Come forward to plank pose. Lower yourself all the way down with control, elbows grazing the ribs, point the toes straight back. Now my shoulder blades lift here, and at the same time I'm lifting my low abdominal muscles. My pelvis is pressed into the mat. Keep that action. Sweep your arms behind you, palms face up. So you come into this Shalabhasana type pose, and then lift your legs as well. Now pelvis is pressing down, but pull your low abdominals in and up to lengthen the low back. Reach out through your legs strong, both legs. Reach them away and then rest. Come all the way down. And we'll sit into extended child's pose. Sit all the way back, knees wide, toes together. We'll do our final spine action in this sort of slow warm up where we bend over. This is lateral flexion, right? Bending over to the right. So walk your hands over your right. Lift your stomach up over your thighs. Right hand to gently push your hips back toward your left heel. Left arm reaching long. Breathe into your left rib cage. Let your head go. So again, it might be a kind of mild stretch, but it's an important stretch to do once or twice a week. That opening up the sides of the ribs, the intercostal muscles between the ribs, keeping them elastic and flexible. So you can really breathe and open that space. So important to keep the lungs healthy, getting all the oxygen that you can from your lungs. And then we'll come back to center and walk over to the left side. The arms come up and over. I lift my stomach a little bit up, place it down on my thigh if I can, using that left hand now to just gently press my hips back toward the right. If I could get my right hip down on my heel, I'd go for that. In other words, I'm focusing on the stretch across that whole right side. Right fingertips to armpit to hip. For some people, for yogis who've done a lot of yoga for a long time, this is not a huge stretch, but that's not so much the point. In fact, you don't have to pursue strong stretching feelings every time you practice. Sometimes it's just about softening the tissue to receive the breath. So just noticing, feeling the ribs expanding, that nice pliable tissue between the ribs, those intercostal muscles doing their job. And come back to center. And then again, downward facing dog. Lifting up and back. And one more time, we'll start from this little warm up. We'll slide forward to plank. Lower yourself down with control, using your abdominals, your butt muscles, your hips. Point your toes straight back behind you. Now hands are underneath the shoulders a little bit back. Curl your head and chest up for a low cobra, right? So my shoulder blades are back, my hips are still down here. I'm using my abdominals to lift out of my pelvis as I reach my legs back behind me. And then lower back down, tuck your toes, use the sides of your waist, lift back to a plank if you can, and then to downward facing dog. So I'm going straight up and lift the hips back. And then we'll walk the feet forward to the hands for standing forward bend. Bow forward. Always feel free to bend your knees. And in this case, we'll touch the ground with our fingertips, let your shoulders go, let your head go. Notice that if you hyperextend your legs, you get a little dullness through the back of the pelvis. Okay, so just feel that in contrast to now shift your weight slightly forward to in front of the heels. Just a little bend in the knees, meaning take the top of the shins up here by the knees, take that part slightly forward, keep that forward as you move the top of the thigh bones back. So top of the shins ever so slightly moving forward, like you're trying to be right over the very front of the heel, and the top of the thigh bones move back. And you'll see you have a little more liveliness, a little more access to the pelvic floor, the back of the pelvis. So where I said we never want to lock out or have a pose be static, this is a good example, our forward bend. Should have some breath and movement in the pelvis, in the low pelvic floor, the tailbone. Okay, then inhale, look halfway up. Exhale to bow. And then we'll inhale to come all the way up to stand, stretch up, look up, and exhale, hands to your side. So feet are hip distance apart. Keep going with your arms. So inhale, stretch up. Exhale, hands to your sides. Inhale, big full breath. And exhale. So now we really should have more access to the breath. Maybe breathing in and out through the nose clearly. Exhale. And inhale. Ideally, we can get the nose to clear within a couple minutes of our practice, if it's not already clear. Exhale. This is the time of year for a lot of people when there's starting to be some pollen and mold and so on. We start to get those spring allergies. It's good to clear your nose every day. One more time. Exhale. Even if it goes back to being stuffy an hour after practice, that's okay. This time we're going to bow forward. Go inhale. Exhale to bow. Touch down. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, bow. And inhale, come all the way up. Just that really simple rhythm. Exhale, hands to your sides. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale to bow. Inhale, look up, extending the tail, just like cat and cow. Exhale, round. And inhale, come all the way up, stretch up. Push into your feet. Exhale. 2 more times. Inhale up. Keep that connection of your front rib cage. Exhale to bow. And then here, keep the connection to the pelvis, which means the top of the shins are moving slightly forward. Exhale, bow. Inhale, come all the way up. Keep those front ribs knitting in. Exhale, hands to your sides. So 2 more times. Inhale, front ribs knitting down. Exhale, top of the shins ever so slightly forward. Inhale, look up, extend. Exhale to bow. Inhale, come up, top, front ribs knitting down. Exhale, hands to your sides. Okay, we're doing 1 more. Inhale. If you've practiced with me for a while, you know I never really mean what I say in terms of repetitions. Inhale, look up. Exhale, it's all very intuitive, really. And then inhale, come all the way up, stretch up, look up. Exhale, hands to your sides. If you're not already at the front of your mat, come to the front of your mat. And then feet parallel. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, look halfway up. This time, step your left foot back to a long lunge. Toes are tucked, back knee facing straight down to the floor. Inhale, sweep your arms up, front leg at a right angle. Find your balance there. Go inhale to open. Inhale to look up. And then exhale, we're going to open to the right, twisting. And then inhale, arms up. And open to your left. So you got to hold the balance of your legs. Inhale, arms up. Open to your right. Yep. Inhale, arms up. And 1 more time. Open to your left. And then back up to center. Touch down, frame that front foot. Once again, we're going to place the back knee down. And this time, we're going to slide that front knee over beyond the toes, coming up on our fingertips. So I'm really in a low squat on my right side. It's really, if you think of it, it's a one-sided squat. Trying to get my right hip close to my right heel, lengthening from that back leg all the way up through the crown of my head. A little scoop through the low belly so I'm not over hinging that right pelvis. And I could lean so far forward that my right heel starts to come off the ground a little bit. We're going to do some work in a back bend in a bit where we're starting in this position. So we're just opening up, getting the legs, the knees, the pelvis ready to receive that pose. Okay, and then lean it back and go ahead and just, this will be our very first hamstring stretch, nice and gentle. Okay, so kicking the right foot forward, I'm going to slide forward enough that my hips are above or slightly in front of my left knee. And I'm not hammering this hamstring stretch, okay? I'm just hanging out here and particularly working on that not hyperextending. So I've got the top of my shin slightly moving forward and the top of my thigh nestling back into the hamstring, into the back plane. Top shin slightly lifting, thigh bone pushing back into the hamstring. So just working that action, a little bit of hip opening, okay? If you want to play a game, this is a good one. Engage the back of the leg, lift the leg, an inch off the floor, place it down. Try that one more time. Hug the leg muscles in, lift the leg, place it back down. And then we'll step it all the way back, downward facing dog. Lean it back. Feel a difference side to side in the hips, particularly in the front of that right pelvis should feel more spacious. And then we'll slide forward, plank pose, lower ourselves down, point your toes, hands beside the ribcage, curl the shoulders, lift the chest, lift the low stomach, extend out through the front of your head, and downward facing dog, lifting the hips up and down. One big breath here, and then look forward, step or hop. I step because I like to lift the low stomach and make that connection to the pelvis. Bow. Inhale, come all the way up, stretch up. Look up as you push your feet into the earth, front ribs still connected. Exhale. Second side. Inhale. Exhale to bow. Inhale, look up, extend. Exhale, step your right foot back, long lunge, go way back there, wiggle your back toes back if you need to. Inhale, sweep your arms up. So finding your balance here, sitting low. That front leg toward a right angle, my knee is not beyond my ankle, it's stacked right on top of my heel. Big inhale, and then exhale, opening to your left, arms reach away from each other. Inhale, up through center. Exhale, open to your right. So you're just revolving around your axis. Inhale, up. Yeah, nice axis of the spine, open to your left. Inhale, up. Open to your right. And then inhale up, square off, touch down. Framing that front leg, back knee comes down. I didn't tell you it's on the other side, but of course you can always pad your back knee a little bit more just by rolling that mat under like that. You know, a little extra pad. Here, coming up on your fingertips, lean your knee forward, lean your hips forward. So I might drag my back knee a little bit with me. I'm spreading my left toes. I'm really working the sole of that left foot. It may not seem obvious, but trying to get that nice broad forefoot, the fascia on the sole of that foot spreading wide, all the way up the back of the Achilles tendon, up the back of that calf, opening the chest as I lengthen from the back leg, like my back leg's a tail, extending back, lift the low belly up through the crown of the head. I could lean so far forward that I almost lift my left heel off the ground. It might feel like in this moment, it might feel like a right hip stretch, but you'll see when we go back into down dog how it's also really a left hip opener. Nice big inhale. And then we'll lean back and kick the foot forward. So I'm not sitting my hips back toward my calf. I'm staying stacked on top of that back knee. This is where the knee padding is coming in. Nor am I really forcing a deep forward bend hamstring opener. See how open I still am? I'm not really bowing forward much. I'm keeping my left knee and toes straight up and down. The top of my left shin is resisting a little bit. It's lifting slightly. So there's a seesaw action. I lift my left shin up, my left thigh bone can descend toward the back plane. So really just working that. That's a very subtle but important hip action, that the left thigh bone can draw back into the pelvis and move down toward the floor. So sucking back to the back plane and down toward the floor. And that's it, right? You may not feel, again, you may not feel a lot of stretch if you're flexible, and that's okay. Just work the action of the leg, breathe into it. And then we'll just play that little game of trying to lift the legs. It's good entertainment. And it's good integration of the leg muscles too. So hugging the leg muscles and see if you can lift that left leg an inch off the floor, back down. And one more time, hug everything and lift and back down. Good, and then stepping that left leg back, go back to downward facing dog, and feel the openness through the left front of the pelvis. Also feel, hopefully the left nostril is now clear, and the left side of the face is more open. So just clear that whole channel up the left side. Come forward to plank pose. Lower yourself down carefully, using your low belly to support the low back. Same thing here, low stomach has to fire. Outer hips fire. Curl the head and shoulders up, lifting up, extending through the crown of the head. Reach the legs back, and then downward facing dog. I tuck my toes. I really keep that integration of the low abdominals to support as I reach. Big inhale here. Exhale. Look forward and step forward. Bow and inhale, come all the way up, stretch up, reach up, exhale, hands to your sides. Okay, inhale, exhale, bow forward, inhale, look up, exhale, step all the way back to plank, lower down, inhale, cobra, or a cobra upward dog. That means my hips are a little bit lifted. And then a downward facing dog, rolling over the toes if you can. We're going to do 3 of these, just your classic Surya Namaskar, sun salutation, warm up. Push into your hands, big inhale. As you exhale, look forward, hop to your hands, just try it. And bow. Inhale, come all the way up, stretch up, look up. Exhale, hands to your sides. 2 more, just like that. Follow your breath. Inhale, breath, and movement. Exhale, to bow. Inhale, lift up, extend. Exhale, step back to plank, lowering all the way down. Inhale, cobra or cobra dog, where I'm lifting the pelvis, but lifting the low abdominals. Downward facing dog on the exhale. Take 2 full breaths here. Getting that extension. Now, so remember, if you take the top of your shin bones back, then the thigh bones will move forward. So take the top of the shin slightly into the front plane, move the top of the thigh bones back, and sort of the action of the class, isn't it? It's just bringing awareness. Big inhale. Look for it as you. One more time. Inhale, watching the legs and how they govern the pelvis. Exhale, bow. Inhale, look up. Step or hop back to plank, lower yourself down. Inhale, cobra, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. So the action of the legs become really important to the tilt of the pelvis and your access to your pelvic floor muscles. And thus, how your abdominal muscles work, how your rib cage sits, how your shoulders sit. So everything's connected, and it's always fun to find one thread and tug on it. It's not like any one thread is necessarily so important over another, but it's just a fun experiment in yoga. What happens if we start playing around with our shin bones? What does that start to affect? Bow. Inhale. And exhale. Hands to your sides. Okay. Shifting your weight onto your right foot, tree pose. We'll take that left foot up, so either shin or inner thigh. Again, the fabric of your tights does help.
But if you push the thigh into your foot, it also helps. So bring the hands to the center. Now just watching the standing leg. People who practice yoga for a long time or just tend to be more flexible will tend toward hyperextending that standing leg. And if I tell you to mess around with your leg, it's going to start to mess around with your balance. But that's a good exercise. That's a good string to start to tug on. What happens if I just slightly shift my shin bone to the front plane, the top of my thigh bone to the back plane? It's going to make that whole leg have to work a little more. The muscles have to tone. And I can lift up from the center of the pelvis, up the spine, take your arms up. One nice long lift, but the top of the shoulders can rest. Your ears and your face can rest. The fingertips can be soft, right? So the leg can really fire up and do a lot of work that's made to do. Big inhale, we're lifting, lifting, lifting. Exhale, hands to your sides, leg to your side. Good. Okay, so that's all based on like just have our basic balance down, right? Once we have the basic balance down, then we can start messing around. Otherwise, we're just working on balance. So foot comes up, staying on your left leg, right leg comes up. I do find that if I can get my heel up closer to my groin, the balance gets easier, right? Because I make a more solid connection between foot and inner thigh. So my inner thigh is pushing into my foot, hands together. If I keep my hands low at first, then one, I can relax my shoulders. So you just check in, I'm not trying to use my neck and shoulders to balance. And two, I can shift my focus a little more to the leg, the standing leg, just shifting the weight. So if I think of taking the top of the shin to the front plane, now I'm a little more toward the front of the foot, but not in my toes as much. I'm just toward the highest part of the arch of my foot versus back in the heel. And then I can take the top of the thigh slightly into the back plane. Now my whole leg is firing for me. And I can use the pelvic floor, lifting from the center of the pelvic floor up, up, up. So I'm going to make a connection from the arch of my foot, up the pelvic floor, up through the upper palate. And that nice, continuous, energetic line, rising up as I reach down into the earth through that leg. Big inhale. Exhale, hands to your sides. Foot comes down. Okay. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, to back. Inhale, look halfway up. Now this time, sit your hips low. Your feet can be hip distance apart, or they might be a little bit closer. Whatever your feet are doing, your knees are going to stay that same distance. We'll take the arms up. So we're sitting low, as low as we can. And the other thing to try here is, again, shift the hips back. It's like I'm trying to push my shins forward, but I'm sitting my thigh bones as far back as I can. Lift the low belly so the ribs slide back as well. Big inhale. And then exhale, touch down. Inhale, look up. Step your left foot back again. This time we're going to pivot that back heel down and come up for warrior one. So with the back heel pivoted down, hips do different things. I'm not going to try to square off my hips to the front of the mat. And I'm also maybe not going to make it to a right angle on that front thigh. I can try, but it doesn't necessarily happen. But notice how you can see my hips are at an angle, and that is okay. I'm trying to push into that back leg strong, lift through the top of the chest. Arms are straight and strong. Maybe I have to go wider, that's fine. But find an energetic connection from the side of the waist, up through the arms. Big inhale, look up. And then we're going to open up to warrior two. So arms out to your sides. I'm going to move my back leg back a little bit, turn my back toes toward the edge of the long edge of my mat. And again, sit a little bit lower, top of the shoulders down. Rib cage moves back. Big inhale, reaching to that back arm, reaching into that back leg, the whole back body, reaching. And then windmill your arms, pivot that back heel up, touch down, and we're going to launch ourselves forward onto the right foot to balance. So I'm going to lift up the back leg, walk my fingertips forward, I'm going to move back again so you can see me. Fingertips are underneath my shoulder,
back leg is lifting. Square off the hips. So now I really am squaring the hips. I'm lowering that left hip a little bit, lifting through the right low belly. Place your left foot down next to the right. Sit your hips back for Utkatasana, again, fierce pose. So I'm leaning back, arms come up. Watch the neck and the shoulders. And then stand up nice and tall. Exhale, hands to your sides. Okay, so a little warrior sequence there. Nice strong leg work. Okay, inhale, take your arms up. Inhale, look up. Now sit your hips back. Sit low from here first. It's a little bit more accessible with the fingertips on the ground. Lift your low belly, sit back into your heels a bit. Now sweep your arms up along your ears. See if you can really lift that stomach back into your low back. Strong legs. Push into your legs. Don't be afraid of leg strength. Use your leg strength. Good. And then touch down. Look up. Step your right foot back. Pivot your back heel. And I don't know why I have this little habit. I come up and out of the pose a little bit, and then I sit back into it, and that just helps my hips. My front leg is at a right angle, so I'm not leaning the knee forward beyond my shin. But my hips are a little open. They're a little bit open on the diagonal. Some people have a hip configuration that's naturally that they're born with. They could square off a bit more. But make sure that you're paying attention to your low back, right? So I have breath, I have movement in my pelvis. I'm not locked out. My back leg is not locked out. So that front shin, the front of the shin is moving slightly forward so that the top of the thigh can scoop back a little bit. Big inhale, and then open up, warrior two. Open my back leg a little bit, turn my toes for the long edge of my mat, and again, sit as low as you can. Move into that back hand, move into that back foot strong. Whole back body is opening to the back of my mat. Big full breath here. Strong legs. Don't be afraid of strong legs. And then exhale. I'm pivoting to square off, and I'm going to step forward to balance. So I'm just going to slide that foot back so you can see me. But I'm lifting my back leg up, my right leg up, walking fingertips out underneath my shoulder. And I'm going to work on squaring up. So I lower my right hip a little bit, lift through my left hip. And holding there, extending out through the crown of the head. And then placing the right foot down next to the left. Sit your hips back, lean back, lean back, lean back. Arms come up and line your ears. We're back in that fierce pose. Push into both heels, come all the way up. And exhale, hands to your sides. My timer is turned off. There we go. Okay. And check time. Okay, so facing the front of your mat again. Building a little bit on our warrior sequence. Now we'll make it more of a lateral sequence. So, big inhale. Exhale to bow. Inhale, look up. Sit your hips back. Utkatasana, fierce pose. Bow forward, keeping your knees bent. In fact, you have the option here of take the hands off, knees bent. This is a fun exercise. Shift your weight to your right foot, step your left foot back, come up, modified warrior one because my back toes are tucked. I don't have my back heel down. So sometimes we call this crescent lunge, lots of different names for this. But I'm squared off to the front of my mat, lifting up. Now, side angle pose. Pivot your back heel down, right forearm comes to your right thigh, left arm over the head. So our arm was already in position there. Move your left thigh bone back, the top of the left thigh bone moves back because the top of my left shin is resisting. Top of my left shin is not trying to move back into the back plane. I can really extend out the pelvis through that back leg, nice and strong. Extend up through the side body, big lift. Maybe pivot around the axis of the spine. Now, like I said, lateral work. Left hand to hip. Look out past your right toe. We're coming into half moon pose. So I'm going to reach through those right fingertips. My right foot is not going to move. Keeping that right foot pointing straight forward as I reach out for my right hand and lift the left leg. This is a place where you could have a block underneath that right arm, right hand. Lift the left arm. More important than your external form is finding that connection, the power of the legs, and the freedom in the pelvis. So can I breathe? Can I pulse? Can I move? Like I could lift my left leg higher, but that would block me out. I wouldn't have access to my breath, my pelvic floor. Big inhale, step it all the way back, come up, straight legs, turn your feet parallel, hands on your hips, lift the chest, and bow forward. As you bow, check that your feet are pointing straight forward and in line with each other. And then go ahead and bow, and you can walk your hands back between your legs, or you could keep them out and you can keep your torso parallel to the floor, right? So whatever works for your forward bending, your hamstrings, your low back. In either case, actively reach from the pelvis down the legs into the earth. Feel that connection to the front of the heel. And as you push into the front of the heel, top of the shins just a tiny bit forward. It's not like bending your knees, it's more like an active engagement through the legs so that the top of the thighs can move back without hyperextending the knees. Let your head go. There's no grand prize for whoever gets their head to the floor first, at least not in this particular yoga world that I live in. So this is more about leg action and checking in. For me, this is about checking in left to right. Am I extending out of the pelvis evenly left to right? An even action through my calves, through my hamstrings. Can I lift my low stomach and support the pelvis where the thigh bones meet my pelvis? And then inhale, look up. And hands to your hips, push into your legs, come all the way up. I'm going to turn around because that's the sequence we're working on here. All right, so then turning your right foot to the front of the mat, bend your right knee, and see if you can step that left foot all the way forward, and you're going to wrap it around for eagle. So that's kind of a tricky but fun transition to work on. Stepping onto my right foot, facing the front of the mat, taking my left foot and lifting it up and over, eagle pose. Okay, so left knee is now over to right. And if you can get your calf, go for it. It doesn't always work. So now I've got eagle legs. Eagle arms would be right arm on top. So left knee's on top, right arm's on top, crossing, maybe palms come together. And I can stay up here, or I can start to crouch down a little bit. Still using the abdominal scoop to open up the front of the hip joint, elbows to thighs, relaxing your gaze, relax the base of the skull, your ears, your tongue. Eagles have to be so present and focused without unnecessary tension. And then open up the arms, open up the legs, and come to stand again at the front of your mat. Okay, here we go, second side. So inhale, arms come up. Exhale to bow. Inhale, lift halfway up. Now, sit back a little bit, and we're just gonna try this weight shift again. So I've got my weight on my left foot. I'm gonna lift my right leg up and to see if I can step it back just like that. It's just a good way to activate those leg muscles. Notice that my back heel is lifted, straight toward the sky, back knee is down, arms come up. Make sure you have a long enough stance that your front leg would be at a right angle, back leg is more or less straight. Big inhale, and then we're gonna go into side angle pose. So the right arm is already where it needs to be. Pivot your back heel down, left forearm to thigh, and there we are. And shift your weight into that back leg. Push into that back leg without hyperextending. This is the anti-hyperextension class today. The top of the shin just slightly moves forward. That should engage the back of the leg. Then I can reach more strongly on the pelvis, back into that back leg, and extend through the side body, turn the ribcage, pivot around the axis of the spine. My front leg is nice and strong, my knee is staying wide, my left knee is staying wide, it's not falling into the midline. Big inhale, and then come up, and we're gonna come into half moon pose from here. So leaning, leaning out and trying to lift. I'm gonna shorten my seat. I'm gonna back up a little so I stay in the camera. But leaning out, left fingertips down, left foot straight forward, lift all the way up. Now, the goal of this pose is not to be pretty from the outside. It's to, like I said before, it's like to feel like you have some movement, some access to the pelvic floor muscles, to the tailbone, right? I can move my tail back and forth. And then maybe some freedom through the rib cage. If that's not working in the ribs, just place your hand on your hip. That'll give you a little more access to the ribs. And big inhale here. And then we're gonna slowly land all the way back. Come all the way up. Turn the feet parallel. Okay, so we're on a nice wide stance. Feet parallel, toes pointing straight ahead, lined up with each other. This time, let's interlace the hands behind the back, palms face each other, curl the shoulders back, and start to bow forward. Now, don't go quite as far this time. Keep your hands resting on your hips for the moment. Bend your knees a little bit and widen your knees. So you're kind of falling slightly to the outside edges of your feet. Then bow a little bit more, scoop your stomach a little bit more. Bow, 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 scooping the front of the abdominal muscles up off the front of the pelvis. Now, try to straighten your legs. It may not straighten, but just try. And lift your hands a little bit. But keep curling the shoulders back. Curling the shoulders back. Lean your weight slightly forward toward the front of the arch of your foot. So you're not totally in the heels. Now, so right, you've got a little weight to the front of the arch. Now, keep that, but reach the heels back down. So it's evening the action through the legs. Reach your knuckles toward the sky. Push into your legs, come all the way up to standing. Release your hands, okay? Turn your left toes to the front of the mat. And that back leg is gonna sweep all the way around into eagle pose. This is a fun potential transition. So you bend your left knee is in line with the toes, as I now pick up that right foot and bring it across into eagle. Maybe cross your toes behind your calf. Take your left arm on top. Find your center. Literally, like I don't mean that esoterically, I mean like reconnect back to the center of the body. And then maybe back leg. Elbows to knees. So relaxing the base of the skull, your eyes, the hinge of the jaw, nice and focused. Find your breath. Then up, you can unwrap your arms, unwrap your legs, back to center. Okay. Okay, we said we're gonna do a little bit of back bending. So we'll prepare for that. We can do some thigh stretches for that. Inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Step your left foot back. Place your back knee down. Maybe pad your back knee if you need to, right? Folding that mat over. If you have a blanket, go for it. We're going to keep the left hand down, take the right hand back. If you're very flexible, go for the ankle because probably the top of your feet are already quite open. You just end up stretching the top of your feet instead of your thigh. If the top of your feet are tight, then go ahead, hold your toes, stretch the top of the foot. Don't let the foot sickle in, right? So resist. The foot should be in line with your shin. Dragging that heel close to your hip. I'm not leaning forward at all, but one could, right? If you were more flexible, you need more thigh stretch, you could start to lean your hips forward. You would be bringing your heel with you. Nice full breath. Again, pivoting around the axis of the spine. Nice thigh stretch. Right up the front of the hip flexor there. And then release that side. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back leg. And we're gonna pivot to the left side. Now notice, let's keep the feet turned out here. Sit your hips low. Bring your elbows to the front of your thighs. I'm going to turn to face you. Bring your elbows to the inside of your thighs, forearms, elbows. My toes are turned out. I'm just gonna go a little bit side to side. Opening up the front groins there. Thigh bones are moving back into the back plane, scoop the low belly. And then pivot over your left foot. Back knee is facing down, so now you're facing the back of your mat. Place your back knee down. Keep your right hand down. Take your left hand back to your right thigh. Or sorry, to your right foot. Okay, so you're facing the back of your mat, right? You should know what you're doing. You're just doing that thigh stretch we just did. Right hand is down, left hand to back foot, opening to your left a little bit in a twist. Just breathing into that front thigh. You can always move deeper into this thigh stretch by shifting your hips forward, by coming on your right forearm if you want to. But again, just be sensitive, especially if you're more flexible. You don't need sensation all the time. Maybe you just need to soften and breathe and notice and feel. Right? You don't have to run up against a boundary, a hard edge every time you stretch and practice yoga. Just sensing and feeling can be tremendous benefit to your joints. I would argue it's probably more beneficial. Breathing, moving the lymph around, creating space. Release that leg, tuck the back toes. Again, lift your back knee, pivot to the long edge of your mat, toes are turned out, bend your knees, keep your forearms on your thighs, and again, just side to side with the hips. Sitting low in the groin, so that the pelvis is nice and low. Just a little left and right. And then turn to face the front edge of your mat again, pivoting the heels back down, and we'll step all the way back, downward facing dog. Watching the leg action so we can maintain some connection to the pelvic floor with the leg strength, top of the shins ever so slightly forward, top of the thigh bones moving back into the back leg, low pelvic floor lifting, extend out through the spine, out through the crown of your head, out through your arms, and then we'll come all the way down onto the knees, and we're going to start Virasana. So we have the options here. We have options of just bringing the feet and knees together and sitting back on the heels. Sometimes that is plenty of a thigh stretch. My shins and thighs are lined up, everything's squared off. Okay, so that's option A. Option B is to take the knees a little bit wider, the heels even wider, toes are pointing straight back, mush your calves and sit right down between your heels. Sometimes the floor is like right there, no problem. Sometimes the floor is an inch away, and we're just keeping the knee joints nice and lined up. So I've got from the crease of my knee, goes straight back through the center of my heel, right to my second toe. That makes a straight line, meaning I'm not sickling my feet in, I'm not doing anything totally weird with my shins. I'm just trying to sit. This is very accessible to you. Again, work on feeling space, letting the top of the thighs drop down into the earth even more, right? We're just opening up the thighs, a little bit of thigh stretching, okay? And then leaning forward. Let's go ahead and do toe breaker pose here, because we haven't done that yet. Go ahead and tuck your toes, sit back on your toes. If you can have the heels toward each other, go for it. So it's more in the big toe joint. I know some people have funky big toe joints, so be nice to your toe joint. Find out if breathing into the toe joint is creating space, or if this pose is just jamming it up, and then it's like, that's no good, right? So whatever pose we're in, there has to be breath, there has to be movement. So if you're running into joint, or arthritic tissue, that's not going to help you. Let's take one breath. Take the palms, interlace your hands, turn your palms face away, stretch up, look up, and then exhale, release. Okay, lean forward. Let's do a downward facing dog. Open those toes and those knees back up. And we're going to move into Anjaneyasana, little lunge back bend. Okay, stepping the right foot forward, back knee down. I'm not in my longest possible lunge, so I'm starting at about a right angle with both legs. Okay, that's about the distance between my foot and my knee. Because then I'm going to lean it forward. So look how my knee is going out now beyond my ankle over my toes. It's in line with my toes. It could be slightly wider, but it's not narrower. So it's widening off to the left, to the right slightly. Okay, from there, use your hands on your front knee and lift out of your low back. So this is a tricky one. This is where people get mixed up in back bending. Because what they'll tend to do is just lift the neck and shoulders as if that's going to lift your low back. It doesn't. Okay, so relax the neck and shoulders. And can you ground more through the pelvis? Can you ground that right thigh bone down toward the earth, like you're pushing it into the back line? Can you ground through your left thigh bone? So that's creating one flow down, and then can you lift the low belly up and the low back up, and that's creating a second flow up. Okay, so one part down, one part up, creating this space and this traction in the low back. And how much you can do that then dictates how much of a back bend you can do. So we're just doing a little baby back bend, right? Even either just staying right here or taking your arms up along your ears, lift up through the rib cage, but not through the shoulders, right? It's like I'm lengthening the spine out of my low back. Optional, taking the hands behind you, curl the shoulders back more, so it's more of an upper back bend. And my hands can rest on my back thigh, I can slide them down, lift open, but find length and space in the whole spine. Remember, it has to be able to breathe. I'm not locked into the pose. I can breathe and move and engage and disengage, and then we will release and touch down, okay? And then downward facing dog. Lifting that back and up, step back, all the way back. And you should feel, again, the whole right side of the body is now more open. The right nostril, the right side of the face, the right pelvis feels more springy, more breath. And we'll step. You can come on your knees, and we'll step that left foot forward, and we're in that right angle lunge to start with. Okay, that's the distance between our foot and knee. Lean that front knee forward, so it comes out over the toes, but widens a little bit to the left. If it helps you to turn your toes slightly out to the left, you could do that as well. Otherwise, your left foot is pointing straight forward. So get your balance there. It's very common here for people to now start to jam the low back. It's like, oh, I can go deeper, I can go further in that pose, but now you're stuck. There's no breath here. So we need to keep that pulsation, movement, the ability to engage and disengage at every part of the pose, okay? So there has to be a little bit of that bounce. I'm scooping my left hip down toward the earth. I'm extending strong out through that back leg. Okay, so keeping that downward movement through the legs, lifting through the low back, but not the shoulders, right? Take your arms up and challenge yourself to not do the upper body extension. The upper body's relaxed. Here it is, yeah. So, and the lift is coming from the low abdominals, from the sides of the waist. So that's option A, nice easy back bend. Option B is a little more of an upper back heart opener. Interlace the hands behind you, palms face each other, curl the shoulders back, reach the hands down the thigh, open the throat, but I'm not dropping my head. I've still got support through the whole spine, lengthening, lifting, traction on the whole spine, big inhale, and then release, bowing forward, stepping back, downward facing dog. So it's a really nice, easy, accessible back bend that is very modifiable to your access day to day, which, you know, really, for me, that really changes depending on what I'm doing. Okay, walking the feet forward, and we're gonna come into a squat. So feet are hip distance apart, lower your hips. If you can, we'll try to keep the heels down as well. Doesn't always work. And I reach my arms out to counterbalance. I could like hold it. Some people hold on to the edges of their mat for counterbalance. Just stay here for a moment. You could bring your hands to prayer if you have the balance. And then we're all gonna sit down so gracefully onto our hips. And, just check my time. Okay, so now you have your handy strap or bathrobe belt, whatever you have. Okay, you're your back, rolling back. So the strap is nearby, we're not gonna use it quite yet. We're gonna do one more back bend, bridge pose, which is, again, it's a really nice way to open the top of the chest, to get that space in the spine, practicing grounding through the leg bones. So my palms are gonna turn face up, shuffle one shoulder blade at a time onto the upper back. So that just helps me get more curve in the upper back of my back bend and less in my low back. So really interested in opening the upper back and flexibility there. Palms face up, shoulder blades snug under. Front ribs can soften though. Push into your feet, lift your hips. So that's option A, right? That's just like a little baby bridge. Hips are lifting as high as my knees. And it's really gentle, and there's space for breath. So I like this one. My neck is not stressed out. I can swallow. There, I demonstrate swallowing. I have a space in my ears. I'm not hardened down, right? So let's take one breath there. Nice, easy, spacious bridge pose. And then come down. Okay. So now to move deeper into the pose, we have to be a little careful in our back bend so we don't just walk down, scrunch the vertebrae together, and somehow feel triumphant. So finding that breath and that space and that ease. Go ahead and lift your hips. This time you can interlace your hands, gently move the shoulder blades under. We're not trying to crack a nut under there or anything. There's still space in the upper back. But now my whole spine is off the mat. There's no vertebrae touching, just my skull, okay, and the back of my shoulders. So I can lift the hips a little bit higher, and I'm not putting weight on my cervical spine. I'm breathing into the top of the chest, nice open collarbones, pushing into my feet. I can even open, but I can even keep the front ribs just a little bit softened and integrated. So it's not this big, expansive blowout. There's actually some connection in my back bend. Big inhale, and then exhale, let it go of the hands, slowly lowering down. Okay, so just always be mindful in our back bends. Keep that connection, keep that breath, keep that pulsation going. Now, taking the strap and holding on right behind the right toes, lengthen that leg, and stretch the left leg long. All right, relaxing the shoulders. I'm just keeping that right leg vertical. Drop the thigh back into the back of the pelvis. And then I'm going to slowly reach through the right heel and point my right toes. And reach through the heel and point my right toes. So I'm just working that ankle flexion just a few times. It feels good, and it's important to check every once in a while that the ankle is actually moving and has some flexibility in it. And then we're going to take the leg off to the right. So holding on to the right hand, left arm can come overhead, stretch long, reach through the left leg, the left arm, and reach out through that right leg. My right leg doesn't touch the floor, yours might, because the left hip might lift off. So we could, in the gentle class, I said, don't let your left hip lift off so much. Here, we could let it lift and let that right leg go down toward the floor, but be mindful of your low back. So I'm still drawing my low abdominals in to support my sacroiliac joint. That's where the sacrum and the ilium come together, and sometimes twisting that joint will leave you not feeling so great. So that's one reason to just encourage the left hip to stay toward the ground. It's not actually firmly touching the ground, but it's not twisting either. Take another breath there. Come all the way back up. This time, we're going to take the leg all the way over to the left and rotate that way. So holding on to the strap with your left hand, it comes all the way over. And again, it may not touch the ground. That's fine. If it easily touches the ground, that's okay. My hips are squared off right here. I'm reaching through my left leg. I take my right arm overhead and then slide it along the floor, palm face up. So I'm opening that shoulder as well. It's like I'm in revolved triangle pose. See if you can gently roll that top hip open and away from your top shoulder. Okay, now bending the bottom knee, that's your left leg. Hold on with your right hand to your left foot. Give me a little thigh stretch there. Again, my hips are squared off. I'm trying not to actually do any crazy pelvic rotation. My right hip stacked on top of my left hip. The twisting is coming from my rib cage, and now from my lower leg a little bit where I twist that knee, just a little. Stretching that thigh. And release that leg to come back up. Bend your front knee, your right knee, bend it. and then come back up. Again, that just, if you're more flexible, that will help you protect that low back sacrum joint. And it'll just stretch that right leg all the way out. Pause for a moment, both legs straight. The breath on the right side, expansive. And then we'll hook the left toes. Right behind your toes, stretch that leg towards the ceiling. Leg is vertical. Relax your neck and shoulders. Relax your rib cage down to the ground. It's a good one for yogis to keep checking up on. We tend to be really overextending, like over opening the upper back. So let your upper back rest and round into the floor behind you. And then just a little point and flex through the left ankle, extending, reaching through the heel, and pointing, just working that Achilles tendon, back of the leg. Again, we're not hyperextending. There's a little tiny engagement through the top of the shin bone. Some of you, this whole hyperextension conversation has been completely meaningless. That's great. If you don't hyperextend, I find that probably, I don't know, 80% of people who've done yoga for a few years do hyperextend and they lose the muscle engagement because they've gotten so flexible. Okay, now we're taking that leg off to the left. Hold on with your left hand. So you sort of lose a little bit of integrity in the muscles and as you open up your joints. It's a trade-off, right? Okay, so we're opening the left leg off to the left. Right arm can come up along the ear. And just a gentle resistance with that right hip. It might be lifting off the floor slightly, but I'm sinking my right abdominal muscles back. Just holding a little bit of stability in the back of that pelvis as I extend out of it. Extend the arms and legs like a big four-legged starfish, reaching long from the midline. Lots of space, opening up those inner thighs, opening up the front of the thighs. Big inhale. Exhale, soften your ribs again, soften the back of that pelvis toward your, and then we'll come back up to center. And this time holding on with your right hand, taking that leg all the way over to the right. And we're squaring off the hip. So wherever that leg lands, the legs are at a right angle. My top hip is on top of my bottom. So if my foot goes all the way down, my hip square, my foot is more like, I don't know, 8 inches off the floor for that top hip to be squared off. That has a little bit to do with the tension in your IT band and so on. So my ribs are rotating. I'm letting my left arm reach off to the left. You can take the arm along your ear and then slide it down to a right angle. Just working that shoulder blade mobility. Nice full breath there. And then bending your right leg, the bottom leg. See if you can find it with your left hand. Find your toes. Find your arch of your foot, whatever you can get there. So you have a thigh stretch. Thigh stretch, twist, the whole thing. This is sort of your classic tied up yoga pose that people make fun of. Nice full breath, but here you are, breathing, pulsing into it, and it feels good to be a pretzel. Nice full breath. Open up the front of that thigh. And then we'll release that leg, bending your left knee, come back onto your back. Okay. And we're gonna finish with our final twist. So center yourself on your back, draw your knees into your chest, arms out to your sides, elbows bent. Take your knees over to the right. Again, stacking the hips. So let your knees come all the way to the floor, stack right knee on top of left. That means your left shoulder might actually come off the floor. So don't worry about that. We're gonna take care of the low back or the sacrum more importantly here. The knees are stacked, the feet are stacked. I could use my right hand to keep the knee there. And then my torso is free to rotate to the left. You can soften your eyes, you can even close your eyes here and just breathe. Breathe into that upper left lung. It's a really good pectoral stretch, which helps the rotator cuffs in general Getting that shoulder back toward the back plane, the heavy arm bone to the back, to the floor. One more nice full breath there. And then back to center. Reset your arms if you need to. And come over to your left. Again, you're going all the way so that your knees come to the floor. Okay, so that's first. You might be on your side, right? Then taking that right shoulder back to the floor. If it doesn't touch, it doesn't touch. I could just hang out there, right, with my arm bent. I could put my hand on my rib cage. I prefer to get more of a stretch. I'll draw my elbow down a little bit, and then I'm just working that right shoulder blade toward the floor. Elbow first. I don't take my hand back. The hand touches, then my shoulder comes up. So I'm more interested in the shoulder going down. My hand just follows. And breathing into that whole right side. All the fascia, the connective tissue, the guts, from left to right. There's still movement here. There's still breath. You're not locked out. You can still feel the breath in my sacrum and the breath in the back of my skull, pulsing up and down the length of the spine. You can close your eyes, soften your cheeks. Take one more full breath there. And coming back to center. And we'll square off the hips, draw your knees into your chest, just hug them in. So you can even lift your hips up a little bit, and then place your feet down. And again, lift your hips if you need to square them off. So sometimes it helps with the low back space to lift and just tuck your tail, place your pelvis back down, then lengthen your legs. And the legs lengthening will untuck your tail. So that kind of helps, some people helps them find balance between the tail tuck and the arch. If that's too much arch in your low back, there's some issues with muscle tension and so on, and you can work out over time. But just today, you could bend your knees, right? And that will flatten your low back. But ultimately, we would like this to be comfortable, at least for 5 minutes or so. That would mean that there's even tension between the front and the back of the pelvis. Do turn your palms face up, just gently tucking the shoulder blades under so that the front of the chest is open, palms face up. And we're coming into Shavasana, relaxation pose. So you can let your feet gently fall out to the sides. Let go of your breath. Sink your upper back into the floor. Sink your brain back into the back of the skull. So releasing any tension again in the forehead, the face, in the ears, and in the hinge of the jaw. So the base of your tongue is soft. The roof of the mouth is just let go. You could swallow nice and easy. The top of the shoulders drop back. Let your upper back soften into the earth behind you. But still feel that openness, ease in the front body. Let the top of the thigh bones sink into the earth. Feel the weight of your calves. And then feel the soles of your feet open to the space around you, receptive, soft. Shavasana is this balance between soft attention, scanning the body, looking for tension to let go of, and then also letting go of that attention. Letting your presence become very diffuse. And I encourage you, if you're at home, to take several more minutes in Shavasana. As long as you need. The sweet spot. Just allowing the breath to breathe you. The skin is transparent, the light around you moving in and out of the body. Easy. It's that soft glow. As long as you need. Feel letting go of those tensions. Finding that home base of ease in yourself. And creating a place, a memory that we can come back to anytime. When we feel tense, when we feel worried, we know, oh, there's that space, I can drop into it. It's right there. It's in me. Maybe it has a physical presence in you. Maybe not. Maybe it's nondescript. It's just space. But Shavasana is like this memorization of that place, wherever it is, whatever it is. And we're building a more clear pathway to it. So when things are rough, we can more easily find that path, that easy place. And from that place, we reemerge back to ourselves, back to the world. Or maybe a gentler person. Maybe we have more space to be kind and patient with ourselves, with each other. So, from that place, beginning to deepen your breath. In and out through the nose. Big inhale, stretching the arms overhead. Exhale, soften your body. And then draw your knees to your chest. And rock to your right side. Just pausing here, rolling your head onto your arms. Take a moment to soften. This is another good place, particularly for people who have insomnia, practicing this sleepy time posture, holding on to that ease, knowing you can come back to it anytime. Then using your hands to press yourself up to sit. Any seated position. For me, this simple cross-legged position is pretty accessible. Hands together. It's nice to develop a grounded seated posture too. Sometimes that's sitting on a block, sometimes it's sitting in a chair. So you can find that ease, that place of calm connection. Many different positions
throughout your day.